Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Why is my lighting weird? Oh man, I'm so goddamn pasty. Today, I am super excited to announce my brand new Homebrew subclass. We're going to be going through it today, talking about my philosophy a little bit. Before we get to that, I would like to talk about one thing specifically, and that has to do with my Patreon. So before we get into the Homebrew, just please listen, please. I beg of you. Typically, how I've set up my Patreon is $3 a month, and then you get nothing. Because the people who should pay for my content are those who can pay. My content is for everyone, you know? I decided I need to change that up a little bit. From henceforth, my videos will be going up 24 hours early on my Patreon. Starting with this video, actually. If you want to make sure that you are up to date with all of my videos, this includes TikToks, Shorts, and YouTube videos. Check out my Patreon. All videos will be posted there 24 hours early. I have thought about it, and I've talked to some of my patrons, and we both personally feel that this is the best way to ensure that I can continue to make content into the foreseeable future and potentially start making even more content as I am able to free up more time. With that being said, let's talk about Homebrew for a bit. Just have a casual chat. Most Homebrew sucks. Alright, I think everybody in D&D knows this. In fact, I'd be willing to say that all Homebrew kind of sucks, including my own. But they all suck for different reasons. You see, my usual gripe with Homebrew is the fact that it is usually mechanically lacking. Dungeons & Dragons has such a vast set of rules to draw from and a vast set of different things that you can do with how you make characters that, for the most part, nearly every type of character that you could possibly fathom in your brain can already be made within the confines of Dungeons & Dragons. Yet, people still feel the need to attempt to create those things on their own via Homebrew. Spider-Man class, Batman class, I don't know, Kirito, the Kirito class, as if anyone wants to fucking play Kirito. I feel like I used that example last time. Sonic the Hedgehog, the class, you know? Everybody is trying to make these subclasses and classes that can already be accomplished in game, and part of the reason why is that they're not designing them with mechanics of the game at the forefront of their brain. They're trying to make an idea come to life that they felt couldn't be accomplished in game, and that's valid. But it does result usually in some rather lackluster homebrew. I'm not gonna sit here and say that my homebrew's good, because there are some damn good homebrew subclasses and classes that are designed through this way. However, I do want to issue my method of homebrewing to the community of Dungeons and Dragons and just chew on it. Just think about it. Maybe give it some thought. Maybe consider it. I submit this to the panel. May you judge me as such. I would like to present my fighter subclass that I have created. That I have designed from the ground up first, and then I retrofitted its flavor. This is my homebrew subclass for the fighter, the Blitz Knight. And if you want the full character sheet, it's on my Patreon, but like technically I'm gonna go through it on this video so Wizards of the Coast doesn't sue me for making exclusive content, though I would really appreciate it if you supported me on my Patreon. Anyway, the Blitz Knight, doesn't look pretty. I had a pretty version, but then I made a spelling mistake, so I needed to fix it, and I didn't have time to make the pretty version. But the Blitz Knight. The Blitz Knight's main focus is doing lots of attacks. And when doing those attacks, each consecutive hit will do more and more damage. That was the fundamental idea when I started making this class. I didn't start with anything with the word Blitz Knight. In fact, a few days ago on my Discord server, I hopped into a discussion into one of the homebrew channel that we have there, and I was asking people like, guys, I need ideas. But yes, the Blitz Knight, a name that the community and I came up with for this class. And here's a little poem from the homeland of the Blitz Knight. Blitz Knight, a drummer of an endless percussive dance. If you hear their crescendo, you never stood a chance. Yeah, some call me Shakespeare of D&D. So I've been making all this talk about the mechanics of this class. Here is the basic mechanic. Starting at 3rd level, you gain access to a style of fighting that grows stronger with consecutive strikes. As a bonus action, you may enter into the Blitz stance. Until the start of your next turn, every attack hit in a row without missing increases consecutively in damage by 1d4. The first hit will have 1d4, the second 2d4, the third 3d4, etc, etc. Upon missing, the combo is reset back to 1d4. If you take damage in the middle of your turn, you must make a concentration saving throw in order to maintain the combo. If you fail, the combo is reset back to 1d4. Combos are always reset at the end of a turn. In the case where attack rolls are rolled all at once, roll them sequentially instead. Blitz stance is so physically taxing that the user must forego defense and cannot benefit from the use of a shield until the start of their next turn. You may enter Blitz stance a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and recover uses on long rests. So, this is the bread and butter ability of the Blitz Knight. Blitz stance, it's its namesake. Now, you might be looking at this and either thinking one of two things. A, it's really weak, or B, it's really strong. I figure most of you are in the latter category. Let me explain why this is mechanically actually surprisingly balanced. Obviously, if you are a 20th level fighter and you hit every single of your 8 attacks with Action Surge, oh yeah, you're doing a shitload of damage. With a quick damage calc, that is 191 damage in the turn. The next closest highest damage fighter, the Battle Master, can do 140. So you're able to put out 40 more damage if you hit every single attack. However, more often than not, you're not gonna hit every single attack, especially at 20th level. You're gonna be facing creatures with 21 AC, 20 AC, 25 armor class. You are facing off against things that are going to prevent you from landing those consecutive hits. And depending on where you miss in your sequence can drastically affect the overall damage of this class, making this class very fun, very chaotic to play as well, because sometimes you're going to be doing such insane damage. It feels like gambling. You're going to be rolling well and you're going to be landing all of those hits. Then the next round, you're going to miss half of them. And then all of a sudden, you're doing less damage than every single other fighter subclass. So if you're facing off a creature with 21 AC, which is basically the AC of some dragons and most demon lords, which you're going to be fighting at 20th level, with a plus 11 to hit, you only have a 50% chance of hitting your target, meaning you're going to be missing 1 in every 2 attack on average. That's not good odds, meaning this Blitz Knight can be pretty bad. However, there are going to be times where you get on a hot streak and you do so much damage that it makes up for all of the rather lackluster turns previously. That is what makes this Blitz stance so interesting, fun, and unique to play with. This was the first designed feature of this class, and it informed my future decisions about this class. It's so cool, it's so fun to play, and it does so much damage that it can sometimes it's glorious to just tear through the battlefield with this. And depending on where you get your misses, you can either be the most powerful fighter on the battlefield or one of the weakest. If you get a miss in the middle of an 8-string combo, you are worse than a Battle Master fighter. If you get 2 misses, you're starting to look as bad as a champion. It just keeps on going down. But if you hit, you are the indisputable the indisputable best fighter on the field. Ferocious Gate. This was an interesting feature that I came up with. The training required to learn the ways of the Blitz Knight has shaped your body and your mind. At 3rd level, you may now use your strength or dex modifier in place of charisma for intimidation checks, which, let's be honest, should just be a feature in the game. I realize the DMG has rules on that, but I wanted to put this as like a thing. Like this class can do this. This is something the class can do without fail, no rulings needed. It can just flex its muscles or a backflip so hard you're terrified. You also gain proficiency in the survival skill. If you have proficiency, you may double your proficiency bonus for this skill. This is because, well, I wanted them to be relentless, and I wanted them to feel kind of like Rambos in a way, just constantly trucking their way through things. Next feature, Overwhelming Presence. This feature was super interesting. At 7th level, your prowess on the battlefield precedes you. When rolling initiative, you may choose a creature you can see to intimidate. Roll a contested check of intimidation, yours versus theirs. If the opposing creature loses, they must roll initiative at disadvantage. This is a super interesting feature. I love this feature a lot. I think it's so cool. I think it's a super interesting support ability as well, because you can use that to make sure that some of your slower teammates just have a better chance. If it's super powerful against single targets, And if you're facing off against multiple targets, it obviously begins to lose its effectiveness, which makes this a very potent ability in boss fights, which you can do. But naturally, against bosses, I mean, some of them are pretty fucking intimidating. Next up, we have Adrenaline Rush. Your thirst for bloodshed extends to your resolve. At 10th level, after using Blitz Stance, you can use your reaction to gain temp hit points equal to the number of consecutive attacks hit, multiplied by half your fighter level. You can use this feature immediately after a miss, a loss of concentration on your combo, or if you finish the combo. This feature will count the hits of a most recently landed combo. You may use this feature once and then must be recovered on a long rest. The temporary hit points gained from this feature disappear 10 minutes after combat ends. This feature is really powerful mid-fight. And it's important to note as well that these are temporary hit points, so you can still be power word killed even if you get the incredible 80 temporary hit points, which by the way as well can be completely negated with a single turn of a high level boss monster. If you're playing at high level. With the level where you get this, the most number of attacks you can make if you're a full 10th level fighter is 4, meaning even with 4 while in Blitz Stance anyway. Even while you are in Blitz Stance and you're using your 4 attacks, the most number of hit points you can gain, temp hit points you can gain from this is 20, making this pretty balanced. 20 temp HP, it's nothing to sneeze at. It certainly ease up about a few points of being damaged, but it's nothing crazy. At 11th level, it becomes more powerful, obviously, with the 6 potential being 6, now 6 times 5, that being 30 temporary hit points. The temp hit points can be very useful. It's once per long rest only, so mid-fight, you can get a burst of adrenaline, a burst of temp HP, so that you can tank through the next chunk of hits. And also, the feature has a specific wording here as well. You can use this feature immediately after a miss, a loss of concentration, or if you finish the combo. The feature will count the hits of the most recently landed combo. So let's just say you land 1 or 2 hits as a fighter. 1 or 2 hits with Blitz Stance at the beginning of your combat sequence, and then you miss. Now, do you choose to use this feature now, or hope that you can get a bigger combo throughout the rest of your attacks? If you're an 11th level fighter, you've got 4 more attacks left. You gotta hit 3 attacks in order for it to be worth it. 2 to be even. It's an interesting gambling situation where you gotta go, I'm gonna bet on the fact I'm gonna be able to land more hits, or you can play it safe and say, no, I'm just going to take the temp hit points now. That's 10 temp HP. I just need to last a few more hits. So this feature right here is super interesting. I love it a lot. I think it's a super neat feature. It also requires your reaction. This is going to play into another feature later on. But requiring your reaction will also eat up opportunity attacks. It costs that action economy. I think it is a really interesting feature. Persistent Swing. At 15th level, learn how to cover for your own mistakes. Upon missing an attack, you may recover quickly and attack again. Using your reaction, notice how the last feature used your reaction too, so it's a bit of another gambling situation. Make a weapon attack against the target you missed. On hit, roll damage without adding your damage modifier. This hit cannot benefit from any extra damage accumulated by Blitz Stance. Hitting with this weapon attack roll will negate the miss and allow the combo to continue. So that is the main feature of this. And these features, Adrenaline Rush and Persistent Swing, play off of each other. If you miss, do you take the hit points or do you try to go for more damage? Making this class once again push and pull on itself in order to create the balancing act of character choice. Do you continue your combo? Do you continue to fight? Do you continue to put more damage on the boss? Or do you remember it's got an AoE thing that's about to destroy your entire party and you need to be standing so you can do a medicine check on the cleric who's got a mass heal at the ready? All of these choices are super important and will really come into play when you start getting to these higher levels. With the lower level Blitz Knight just being a pretty solid damage dealer overall, but nothing crazy. At the higher levels, it's this choice of survivability or damage. Persistent Swing uses your reaction as well, meaning you can't use Adrenaline Rush on the same turn with which you use Persistent Swing, making this a super neat dichotomy of these classes. And finally, the capstone ability, the 18th level ability. Look, 18th level abilities are supposed to be a little bit broken. I will fully admit that this 18th level ability, Flaming River, is quite broken. However, wizards get Wish at level 17. Is this ability better than Wish? I don't think so, but I offer that to the class. At 18th level, you become a torrent of battlefield destruction. If you reduce an enemy to 0 HP while in Blitz stance, you may use another use of Blitz stance in order to give yourself another action. If you kill an enemy on a reaction while Blitz stance is active, you may invoke this feature to immediately interrupt the current turn and take your action. That's super cool. I love this feature. I like this entire class. I love this class. I've play tested it a bit and it's so fun. And Flaming River at 18th level, you deserve it. If you can continue to combo and just tear through a battlefield, either with arrows or a great sword, and just continue to tank things using up your uses of Blitz stance, it's a choice, but sometimes having a brilliant opening turn is the difference between winning and losing a fight. Having this as like an opening move, or whether the boss monster summons a bunch of hordes of minions and you need to take out the minions so the wizard can use their highest level spell slot for a wish or something. All of this is super key in making sure that this class feels balanced. So I think this is a super interesting class. And this has been the Blitz Knight, my entry into what I like to call design first homebrew. I came up with the mechanics of this class first, and then I retrofitted its concept on top of it. The concept came from what it does. It was named for its ability to continue to hit and DPS rush enemies. It was named for its power. It wasn't I didn't come up with the Blitz Knight and then retrofit some abilities in order to make it this esoteric concept work. And I think that is why this class is super fun. I feel like it feels like a real D&D subclass, and hey, Wizards of the Coast, if you're watching, contact me, baby. I do think this has been my next entry into my mechanics first homebrew series. If you want to use this class, you obviously can. I literally can't stop you. I just showcased every feature that it gets. I would greatly appreciate you supporting me on my Patreon. Of you supporting me on my Patreon and then getting the stat sheet for this class. Using it for yourself in your games. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been Mechanics First Homebrew. Let me know in the comments what other classes you want me to homebrew for. Do you want to see a paladin, a bard? Let me know. I love making homebrew. I love designing things. I like numbers. It's a fucking problem. But I hope this Mechanics First Homebrew idea has, if not convinced you that this is at least an interesting way to play, at least the merit of this class, I hope that it speaks to you in some way, and maybe it sounds fun. I hope you have a great day. Get the fuck out of my house.